Hello, everybody, and welcome to my episode of the British Grand Prix in career mode. So, in practice, I did quite well, getting within touching distance of the top 10. It was a wet session, so I was kind of disturbed. So, you can just see through this clip now. This is Q1. I got into 13th place fairly early on, no problems, but I was not at all confident that the time would survive as I understeer wide, so that lap was wasted. So, now it took a little while to get going again. But with 3 minutes 38 seconds to remain, I gained a little bit of time in sector 1, trying to stick tight to the apex on the inside and then switching around to the other one. And I'm down to 14th, with Sutil probably going to improve his time at some stage. And now into sector 2, 3 minutes left. I'm now 4/10 up on my previous lap time, so that should do the job if I hang on. And then into the final chicane, the new section. Instead of going straight on, we now take this sharp right and cross the line in a 1:35.3. So that puts me into 13th again, just ahead of Paul di Resta. But ultimately, it wasn't a necessary feat, as I got 15th place, just ahead of Pastor Maldonado. So can I improve on that in Q2? As Alonso had a fast lap there in the session. So let's carry on now. I'm 15th with 4 minutes to go, and I'm under a bit of pressure to try and improve. And I've done a good time there, 0.4, just ahead of Hulkenberg, which could get me out of the session, which would be amazing, especially since it is Williams' Grand Prix at home. And then I take the wonderful sweeping left and rights, and can I keep up with Hulkenberg's time? No, I'm 2/10 down, but this could be a big improvement on my current position, as it is very tight session at the moment. And a little bit of understeer, but I managed to survive. Clip the curb as hard as I can. That's a 1:34.9, so I've broken that that threshold, and I'm within touching distance of the top 10. So I want to try again, maintain the position. As you can see now, Perez has now escaped the clutches of the dropout zone, and I've actually gained 1/10 of a second on him. So an incredible dream could come true. I'm pretty much down to the bare bones of fuel. The team are warning me thus, and a little bit of a mistake on my gears, but I'm away. And can I keep up with the 1 minute 10.1? No, I'm just 2/10 down. I'm going to have to put in a huge effort into this final section. Again, it is the tricky chicane, and here we go. Another big hit on the curbs, and I'm back to 11th place, but it's not to be. I will be eliminated, as I have no choice but to go into fuel save and take the elimination. So what a performance to get within striking distance of the top 10. I was absolutely thrilled to not only, get a good position for the race, but to defeat Maldonado very convincingly so. And I am delighted to play this cutscene. It was probably my best performance of the season, and it was well worth the smiles. And there you go, the woohoos. So there we go. Here's the grid for the Grand Prix. Hamilton failed to secure pole position overall, and Jenson Button there is in 8th position, but Grosjean to my immediate grid slot. So here we go. It's time for the British Grand Prix. The crowd are pretty much in full voice. They want to see a British winner, but here comes Hulkenberg on my inside, and oh no, I've gone wide I go, but I managed to find a gap in the grid, and that's a big mistake, as Gutierrez has found me on the inside as well. And now Grosjean is trying to defend that inside line. He wants to repass Hulkenberg, but he brakes really hard, and now I have to try and find a way through. Grosjean gets acceleration, but he hits the brake really hard. Really reckless there from Grosjean, but I'm through, and I was lucky to escape with my sanity intact. That was a big risk, and I was desperately fortunate to survive. And now Hulkenberg has made an even better start. He's around the inside of Raikkonen. I see a gap on the outside. I've gone for it, but I've touched the gravel and contact as Raikkonen starts to lose positions, but thankfully I emerge unscathed again. But now, as usual, the cars ahead are about to escape, and now I've got a huge queue of cars to fend off, and there's not much I can really do but defend my lines. And there we go, through the sweepers. You can take these very fast nowadays, Whereas, of course, similar to 130R Suzuka, it was a big challenge in the old days. You have to be really careful. And now we're going down the Hangar Straight, probably one of the few names I do remember, as yeah, I really need to learn my names. And I defend the inside line and a bit of understeer, but I get onto the AstroTurf okay, and again everyone has gotten away. Grosjean wants the inside, I say no, and I take 8th place after the lap 1, so that is a big achievement, and I hope to continue that into the longer part of the race, because my objective is a rather high 9th place. And heading into the second lap now, it's Kimi Räikkönen behind. He found a way past his teammate, and he can now find me on the inside. I left too much gap, and Räikkönen is going to exploit, and I'm in danger. Yeah, I give it up. I very cautious driving as Kimi Räikkönen's away, so I'm now in my objective of 9th place. And now Romain Grosjean will want a piece of me as well, and it's only lap 3, so DRS will be in play, and with no there's absolutely no rain forecast, so it's pretty much a dry race throughout. And here he goes, he wants me on the outside maybe. Can he do it? Can he do it? Oh yes he can, he got me, but there's more contact, but he survives, and I've given up the 9th place. But can I get him back on the inside here? I'm going for it. Yes, I've got him. Well, I'm not too happy with Grosjean apparently, but that was a very big moment. I was lucky to not get a penalty, and I understeer wide there. So, yeah, it's huge pressure, but I got away with it. But look at Räikkönen, he's broken away in incredible time, and it's now lap 5. He found a way past Nico Hülkenberg, and here comes Grosjean again on my outside. I've managed to find my braking zone just fine. Well, I understeer wide again, and now I've blocked Grosjean. Button will have a look at him now on the outside to give him the next apex, and he's done it. Button takes 10th place, and now I'm under even more pressure. I've caused more hassle for Grosjean, and he'll be furious considering how bad some of his driving standards have been since he before he matured. And yeah, so I'm desperately trying to hang on to this 9th place. I'm on the harder tyre, the orange stripe, and I can go longer than most of these guys who are on the softs. And now Gentleman Button wants me on the outside, and now he tries to undercut. I block, and now I'll take the inside line for this corner. Very early braking, but it's enough to put him off. And now you can see the Perez has overtaken as well. So Button, bad exit. I think Perez has overtaken Grosjean as well, so that could be very important heading into the latter stages. And now we head to lap 7, and we have a car in the pits. Jenson Button takes his first pit stop. It's a very long pit lane nowadays, and there are a lot more cars coming out of the pits now, so this should put me 4th, I believe. There we go, we're in the top 5 now for the time being, as a lot of those cars are you know, much quicker than me. They'll be back in front in due course. And Perez now wants to have a go and gain more track position, and I take the curves as well as I can, and now the other guys dive into the pits. So now I can see the race leaders. Can I possibly have a go in the lead of the British Grand Prix? That would be something to behold, and I'll take 2nd place. And there's the race leader. It is Lewis Hamilton. The British crowd will be thrilled with this, and I'm not going to be able to catch him, but it would be extremely handy to get some of that DRS, as my pit stop is going to be on lap 10. And there we go, he's gone a little too far ahead of me, and the Mercedes is going to escape very easily. And I have about a 7-second gap over Vettel, so the strategy is working very well so far. But now my tyres are dead. Hamilton has gained about 5 seconds on me since the pit stops, and I've probably lost a lot of time to the nearest rivals of mine. So let's see what's happened. Yeah, so take the brakes very you know, heavily to head into the pits. So it's a very slow speed limiter as well, so I'm gonna lose a lot of time in the pits, and it's up to my team to try and help me out. They've done well so far, and now you can see all the other rivals, they've taken their stops. Vettel performs the fastest lap at 135.3, and my best was at 138.5, so you can see how slow I am in comparison. But now I've got a huge gap. Hülkenberg's miles ahead, but have I found time on Jensen Button. No, there he is. He's on the mini map and he's away. And I'm going to be reduced to 11th place as Max Chilton has overtaken me as well. But he has yet to make a pit stop, so no emergency there. But I have beaten Perez. That's good news. And I'll be desperately trying to keep this place now that I have the softer tyres. But Jensen Button has taken 10th place away. And there we go. It's Hamilton, Vettel, Alonso, Raikkonen, Webber, Rosberg, Massa, Hulkenberg, Button, myself, just behind Chilton, and Perez, Gutierrez, and Grosjean. So Grosjean lost a lot of time. But now I've lost the position. I forgot to record it. I was too busy concentrating, and Perez overtook me on the outside. And now I'm down to 12th place. That's just too slow. And it's just a desperate moment, I'm afraid. I now gain 11th place back, but there's my World Championship point sitting right in front of me, and there's not a lot I can do about it, because in the dry, the Williams is probably one of the worst cars, and the team has yet to upgrade it to its full potential. So that's heartbreaking to say the least, but I'm trying to keep in the DRS. He's on the harder tyre, so there is a bit of hope yet. I will get DRS. I was within 1 second, but can I even do anything about it? Because I'm not in the slipstream, I don't really gain that much of a speed advantage. And no, it's not to be. I try and take that apex again as well as I can, get a little slide on the outside, and Perez gets away. But now we fast forward just a little bit through the sector 2 again, the original sector 1 of the old track, and we'll get a bit of DRS again. He has broken 1 second ahead. 1 second ahead of me even before I got to activate DRS, so that's a real problem. And Grosjean is only 1 second behind me, so if I keep losing time, I'm in real trouble, and I understeer again as Mark Webber performs fastest lap. So now Grosjean has done the same to me on lap 14. We have a retirement in the top left. I'll let you know who it was later, but it hasn't affected my position, and I'm now down to 12th. So I have been beaten fair and square by some of these cars. It was a kick in the face, really. I was very disappointed to lose those positions, but I have a big gap to Gutierrez. So as Grosjean decides to pit again, I have one last chance of redemption to try and beat the faster cars at their own game. And we're about to complete laps 15, heading into 16 as I'm trying to beat my fastest lap. Just not quite there. So I'll come out in 9th position where I belong, just ahead of one of the top runners, Nico Rosberg. And he's going to overtake me on DRS, I'm afraid. I can't do much about it, and I'll just let him go. And you can see, look how much speed there is between myself and the AI, and I have to resume in 10th position. So Hulkenberg is not too far behind. He is one of the top 10 runners, and he'll be bound to overtake me when I pit stop. But you could just see there on the minimap, there was a little glimpse. It was Pastor Maldonado coming out of the pits. So I have taken my teammate, completely I've made him look pretty silly as I've lapped him just before my own pit stop. I'm on the rich mix, turn it down to standard, and it's just a fingers crossed moment here. Maldonado has been well and truly thrashed by me, but now it's about who is going to overtake me. So Hulkenberg is going to overtake. He's there on the inside. I'm now finished my pit stop, back on the hard tyres, and there's Grosjean. He's going to put me back down the order, and it's a matter of just cruising to the end, I'm afraid. It was a long race, and I did my very, very best, and I have a long gap to Jean-Eric Vergne, who is probably on a two-stop strategy that overtaking people along. So Hamilton leads, Alonso, Massa, Raikkonen, Button, Vettel, Webber, Perez, Rosberg, Hulkenberg, Grosjean, and myself. And Vergne is overtaking Ricciardo and Gutierrez, so good for him. Peak has had a good race, and now it's lap 20. I'm going to meet Maldonado again, so that confirms his humiliation. I have lapped my teammate in a Grand Prix, which really just shows how good my performance has been and how bad his has been. So he's in 21st. That's dead last to you and me after Max Chilton retired from the Grand Prix. And there we go, I used my curves to overtake my teammate, and that's a real performance and morale booster. But that was it in terms of highlights. Gutierrez started gaining on me as I had to fuel save. Perez nearly 13 seconds clear. But that's the end of the Grand Prix. Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix for the second time in his career, and perhaps not as exhilarating as his first in the wet, but nevertheless he'll be absolutely proud of himself to win the Grand Prix. And I resume my duties all the way to the finish, taking 12th place. I wasn't even lapped, so that's probably my best performance of the season, but I've not rewarded with any points, so that just goes to show how difficult it was. But there we go, it's Alonso and Vettel behind the Mercedes man, with Rosberg, Webber, Massa, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, Button and Grosjean taking the top 10. Perez the nearest to the points. Myself was in 12th, Gutierrez, Ricciardo, Sutil, Verne, Peak, De Resta, Bianchi, Van der Gaard and Maldonado. In the Drivers' World Championship, Hamilton takes a nice 7 points out of Alonso's lead to reduce to 15. Vettel takes third in the championship ahead of Rosberg, with a lot of the other drivers 100 points behind or worse off, and I'm still in 15th in the championship. Mercedes have a constructors lead of 37 points, but Red Bull and Ferrari are going to snap away at those heels as we head into the second half of the championship in just a matter of time, with the German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. And I gained good amount of experience there, so I'm nearly at level 3, which could help me massively in the teammates battle, and that sort of thing. So I'm going to be rated on my performance so far in the wet race at the famous Nürburgring short layout. But that's pretty much the end of the episode for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more content on my channel, and hopefully we'll beat Maldonado a little more. So thank you very much for watching. Speak to you again soon. Bye.